Hey everyone, welcome to the guitar play-along video of Stirred Up by Bob Marley. Here's how you're going to sound with a little bit of practice. Check it out. Okay, looks simple, right? I've charted it out here for you. So here's what you need. For your left hand, you need 3 chords. And hopefully these are 3 chords that you already know and that you're already kind of familiar with and comfortable with. Okay, the A, the D, and the E chords, also known as A major, D major, and E major. Now that's all you need for the entire song. Okay, in fact, the whole song can be summed up by this page right here, and I'm going to walk you through it. So left hand, A, D, and E, and you're set. Now the right hand, I've given you a strum here that's going to fit the song really nicely, okay? So that when the song comes on the radio, grab your guitar, you can play right along with the real song. In fact, even better is to download the original song by Bob Marley, Stirred Up by Bob Marley. Download it, and with the skills that you're going to learn in this short video, you'll be able to play along with the song. And then next time you're sitting around and someone says, what songs do you know on the guitar? You've got one ready to go, okay? Or maybe you have a chance to sit in with a band or jam with a band, pull this song out, and you're good to go. Okay? So left hand, pretty straightforward. Now let's talk about the right hand picking, because there's a bunch of little subtle details that are going to make you sound a lot more professional if you pay attention and pick up on some of these. All right? Here's how I've written out the song. I'm going to walk you through this note by note, but first I'm just going to play it, because I know a lot of you out there, what you really need is to see someone else do it, right? The paper is nice, but when you see someone, you learn really quickly. I've had a lot of students over the years who just need to see someone do it. So I'm going to stop talking here for a second and play through what I just did a little bit slower. Okay? So those of you who are visual learners, hopefully it's starting to come together a little bit. Now, for those of you who like to see things charted out, I'm going to walk you through this. I've written out 2 lines of tablature here, okay? Remember, tablature, the top line represents your skinny string, bottom line represents your fat string, okay? It's as if we held the guitar kind of like that, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah, skinny string on the top, fat string down below. Now, your job is to follow along with the dots. Typically with tablature, we write in numbers. I made it even easier for this lesson. Grab an A chord, okay? Pluck that note right there, that's the 5th string. That's all you need to know. Now that's followed by a quick down-up brush on the 3 skinny strings. Got to be a down-up. In fact, on your way back up, it's okay if you only hit 1 or 2 strings. Okay, so far we have, and that's followed by 1 more downstroke on the 3 skinny strings. So this first measure right here, between my fingertips, here's what it's going to sound like. That's it. I'll do it again. Okay? Now, to make it sound even more authentic, I highly recommend doing some damping with the edge of your right hand. The damping is going to come after the down-up strum and after the single down strum. Check it out, slow motion. Hear that? Okay, now if you can play just that first measure right there, you're pretty much good to go for the entire song. Second measure, the exact same thing, exact same. So let's call this the A measure a second time. There's only 2 more things to come. The D measure right here. Of course, you're going to change to a D chord with your left hand. And the only change is the first pluck is going to be on the open D string, also known as the 4th string. Okay, there it is right there. And then you're going to answer back with that same, okay, I call that little answer, a little response. Now I'm going to play that D measure a few times in a row, but in the context of the song, it only happens once, and then it goes right on to the E measure. I'm going to play it a couple times here just so you can pick up on it. Here's the D measure looped over and over again. major, big E major. You're going to hit the fat string and then respond back with that same little strum. Okay, I think you're ready now to see the whole thing in sequence. 2 A's, a D, and an E. I'm going to play it through a couple times. Here it comes. 1, 2, here I go. Now, if you're clear and you know what your job is, that's the whole song. I chose this song for a reason. In fact, if you like what we're doing here, I've got a bunch of other videos. Check out the information down below. I hope you subscribe and check out all my other videos, a lot of play-along videos, and then a lot of instructional videos, a little bit longer, that focus on a specific theme. Now, this is aimed at beginners. Our lesson here today is aimed at beginners. I have a lot more stuff aimed at beginners because I've been teaching for more than 20 years. I've taught a lot of beginners. I know what it feels like, and I've been there myself. Everybody starts as a beginner, and I'm pretty in touch with some of the problems that beginners face, and I try to address them. In fact, I'm going to address a couple of them right now. Let's do a quick pause. Reminder for your left hand, A, D, and E. That's all you need for the whole song. For the right hand, this pattern, which is kind of a classic reggae pattern. Remember, the only thing that changes, whether you're doing the A or the D or the E, the only thing that the right hand changes is the very first pluck. On the A chord, you pluck the open A string, the 5th string, there it is right there. On the D, you pluck the open D string, and on the E, you pluck the open E string. It's not a coincidence, it just happens to work out great for beginners, you know? Okay, now, I promised you a couple of tips here. I do have one big suggestion for the A to E transition and a suggestion for the D to E transition. If you're like a lot of beginners, the chords themselves may be coming along, you may be feeling pretty good about the chords themselves. It's the transitions that are killing you, right? I hear it all the time. So mostly it takes practice. There's no shortcut, but I'm going to try to give you a couple of tips that hopefully will work as small shortcuts. So check it out. To help you go from A to D, I want to point out something. The index and middle fingers are going to glide from the A chord very slightly across to the D. Now, to some of you this might seem really obvious, but for the rest of you, I want you to sort of appreciate the fact that, hey, at least the index and middle don't have to move that substantially from the A to the D chord. Okay, so I'm going to hold this a little closer so you can see it a little bit better. Check out my index and middle fingers when it comes time to go from the A to the D. See how they just move very lightly across? And then the ring finger has to relocate, of course. But hey, it could be worse, right? A to D is not the toughest chord transition. You gotta practice it. Okay, now here's one that you might not have, this might not have occurred to you, this tip here. When it's time to go from D to E. Here's my D chord. I'm in this part of the sequence right now. Going from D to E, watch this. My left hand index finger is simply gonna glide backwards 1 fret for the E chord. See that? It was here for the D, and for E it's going to glide back. Okay? Now here's how this is going to save you time. Don't lift this finger off the guitar when it's time to change to the E chord. Right? There's no reason to, it's just going to slow you down. And of course we're talking about fractions of a second here, right? But that's what separates a beginner from someone who's more experienced, those fractions of a second. So here's D, index finger slides backwards for E. It's not much, but it's as much of a shortcut as we're going to get, you know, in this case. And I highly recommend you stick with that. Index finger gliding backwards. And by the way, if you're learning songs that have an E chord going to a D, the reverse would be true. Your index finger would glide up for D. Okay? Main thing is, whatever you do, don't lift your index finger off the guitar strings when you're going from a D chord to an E chord, right? You lose valuable time. All right, so I'm going to pause here for a second and thank you for watching this video. I love making them. I hope you enjoy watching this. Don't forget to check out the information down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. And yeah, Stir It Up by Bob Marley. Download the original tune, and with a little bit of work on your part, you'll be able to play along with the whole thing. All right, everybody. I guess that about covers it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.